23rd all-time meeting, the Cyclones and the Mountaineers, and the new year, 2023, gets ushered in. Emily Ryan's pass a bit too tall, and the Cyclones start the night with a turnover.
Well, you mentioned that long layover between home games and Hilton Coliseum for the Iowa State women. When that pre-Christmas weather came through the Midwest, Iowa State had to cancel what would have been a very good game against a tough interstate rival against Drake, and that explains why they had a pretty long break there.
Starting five for West Virginia. They are powered in the backcourt. Kaya Watson cranks up a three. She followed her coach from South Dakota to Morgantown, and she misfires on the Mountaineers' first shot. Good pass underneath, and there's Joens with the lay-in.
This is a good defensive West Virginia ball club. That's too easy, though, for Iowa State.
West Virginia, one of the top defensive teams in the country, allowing only 54 points per game. Very active hands defensively, and we'll see how Iowa State attacks it. Here's a long three, left it short, one and done again.
And that's not a strength of this West Virginia squad. They are very athletic. We'll see a lot of ball screening action, try to get their athletic guards to the hoop. Won't be surprised if we see Iowa State mix up some defenses, particularly going to a little bit of a zone look, try to force them to shoot it a little more accurately from deep.
Winterly tries to get the Mountaineers on track, and they have missed their first three shots. Iowa State quickly into the offensive zone. Inside deep, and that's lights out once Soares gets it that deep under the basket.
Had a very tough style. Always had tough-minded players on his team, physical teams, and this is a new era under Coach Plitzowite. It'll be interesting to follow next few years and see what types of adjustments she makes as she brings her own players in.
Watson able to get the first bucket to go. 6-2 Iowa State here in this first quarter. Cyclones have not missed from the floor. They've hit their first three shots. Joens will try to add to that. No, and Watson rips down the rebound.
So far, Iowa State attempting very high percentage looks, not connecting on that last one, but up until then, good looks from the inside. And Stephanie Soares really picking up where she left off. 3 early rebounds, already a block shot. She has 16 rebounds, a career high, down in Lubbock over this last weekend.
Kaya Watson able to bury a three-pointer, so it is the former South Dakota Coyote who is scoring some early points for West Virginia. Soares comes up short with her three-point bid. So a nice response by the Mountaineers after the quick start by Iowa State.
It seems that that timeout was well spent by Coach Plitzowite.
Winterly not gun shy. She'll launch, and all of a sudden, after missing their first three shots after the timeout.
Chatting with the media yesterday, he made it very clear he's very confident. But if you'd watch this game early on, it doesn't seem intentional, but they've been getting a lot of high percentage looks from the inside. This Iowa State team sags off a little bit. I wouldn't say they're going to leave West Virginia wide open, but if they have to pick, I think they're going to probably choose to defend the paint.
You saw the quick hands of J.J. Quinterly. This is a Mountaineer team that is tops in the conference in steals with 11 per game, and those turnovers turn into points at least through the first quarter of this season as Quinterly hits the three.
And big smile out of Quinterly after she knocks down another triple.
At West Virginia, spent her entire time at Western Illinois. Off the bench this year compared to all of her starts. Shot clock at 13. Diggs bounces it to Watson. Lobs it right back into Diggs. She'll spin in on Kane. Little floater won't go, and there's Joens to rebound. Iowa State looking for a transition. They get a post up to Kane underneath. Count the hoop. She's fouled.
You can tell she's played a lot of minutes for this Iowa State squad. Key contributor last year in their NCAA tournament run. A clue as to what we might see defensively. Probably some double teams coming pretty quickly every time she catches deep.
See the sagging help out defense from Soares. Pull up Jay, left elbow, no. Ball being tipped around, taken by Iowa State. It's Isis Bay who had just checked in, who had her hand on a possible rebound. And now you see Quinterly, spent the last 6 years at South Dakota, taking over for Mike Carey, the 21-year veteran who Leads the West Virginia record books for all-time wins as Soares gets another 2. Quinterly, who always has her foot on the gas. Nichols stops inside the lane. Mountaineers want to reset the attack. Quinterly airborne with the 3. Ball tipped out, second chance opportunity. Now it's Watson, and she'll bury it.
Great effort for Isis Bay to keep that basketball alive. She went up high to knock that and tip that ball out away from a much taller Stephanie Soares.
They're really high on Bay. This is her 3rd stop after starting her career at UNLV. Was an all-freshman member for the Mountain West, so she has some experience. One of the additions that West Virginia brought in during this offseason. Mountaineers trying to grab the lead, and look at that. One-handed the soft kiss off the window. 8 for Quinterly, and West Virginia back out in front. 14-second differential, shot clock to game clock here.
A little bit of a scoring drought for Iowa State, over 2 minutes. That's something that's plagued the Cyclones at times this year against a couple of good opponents.
Shot clock down to 4, and Donarski lost it. Foul will be called on the reach. Could be a milestone night for Donarski, just 6 points away from hitting the 1,000-point plateau. Will become the 33rd Cyclone to enter into the distinguished club. Smith looks over at the bench for instructions. Starts the offense to Samuel. Comes out high to Quinterly. And now a whistle away from the action.
Kylie Blackston just moves her feet right in front of the official, gets called.
Here comes Iowa State. Donarski behind a Soares screen, goes coast to coast, a whistle and a foul, and she will get 2 free throws to close out the first quarter.
A little too loose with the ball at times.
And they are going to say no, time had expired, so no foul, no free throws. And the first quarter from AMES is in the books.
Great to have another strong coach join the Big 12 Conference.
Spent some time on the Michigan staff back in 2007 through 2012, part of the strong run for the Wolverines. Jayla Hemingway into the scorebook for the first time. Donarski, Ryan, Soares, Joens, and Dew, the 5 out on the floor for Iowa State.
West Virginia brings that quick double team when she gets a little closer to the hoop. Asked if there was a comparable player they had seen this year, similar to Stephanie Soares, and she said no.
It was a quick no.
Yeah, nope, not at all. Didn't even think about it. No. Her ability to rebound on both ends of the floor really brings a nice element that is different than Iowa State's other reserve guards.
Donarski with her first bucket. Look at the counter punch by Quinterly as she beats Iowa State back. J.J. Quinterly, bodies go down in the paint. Joens got tied up with Smith. Fight for the loose ball. Good effort by Joens. Seals Bay. Hooks around. Can't get the shot. From your coaching days, is that one of the tougher aspects to do when you're dealing with a player that plays at such a high speed?
This is at the Division III level. She was also a sprinter on our track team at the University of Chicago. Good question.
Could be a little tricky, I assume.
She had one speed all the time.
Danny Nichols. This is a player that scored over 1,500 points in her career.
And I think one of the things that's interesting about the transfer portal and the NIL, and no one is short of opinion. It takes a lot of maturity for someone to start 30 games, play a really important role, and then someone's able to transfer in and they essentially take your spot, right? Danny Nichols was the stud at Western Illinois, scored a lot of points. Transfers, I assume, because she wants to play at maybe a little bit of a higher level, and she's a role player. So it's just interesting, I think, to see all the various aspects of the transfer portal.
This crowd amping up a little bit. Donarski will try to get them even louder, and she does.
Hilton Coliseum for women's basketball. Always, Madison Smith gets the roll. Iowa State here at Hilton Coliseum, attendance-wise, one of the top 3 nationally year in and year out for the last 15 years. When opposing teams come into Hilton, they know to expect a big crowd for women's basketball.
Big 3 by Smith, and back on the other end, it's Donarski starting to heat up. Yeah, and you talk to other players, coaches, it's a thrill to come here to Ames and play because of the environment.
Well, they know. I mean, Iowa State's men are playing on television. They're down in Norman, Oklahoma tonight. I'm sure there are some fans who stayed home, maybe are watching the game. It's snowy out, but there are a lot of fans here, especially when you consider those couple of factors. So just think how many fans will probably be here in Hilton Coliseum on a Saturday afternoon when there's not a men's game, maybe when the weather's a little bit nicer.
What she brings to practice each and every day, and really the Bulldog mentality. 7 lead changes and now our 4th tie, back and forth in this first half. Nice change of direction by Donarski. West Virginia, who doesn't shoot a lot of threes, they've nearly doubled that total, and they add another here. That's their 14th three-point shot in this first half. Blackson all the way in. She beats Soares to the punch. Counted in the foul. She was Coach P's first addition in the offseason. Court vision as they get it to Fritz, who's been quiet. Soares right back to Joens. Baseline jumper. Soares gobbles up the rebound. Missed the bunny. Missed again. A 3rd crack at it. 4th crack. No. 5th shot. The charm, and it's Fritz. This is Madison Smith into a double team. Good help out by Kane. Blackston peels off it and scores. Found a little bit of daylight, and Kylie Blackston with 5 in this quarter.
Great cut there by Blackston. Her help defender had gone away from her in that next layer of help. Just a little bit too slow.
Ashley Joens got off to a quick start, but she has been quiet since the early stages of the first quarter. There's a strong take by Samuel, and she follows up her own miss.
Limiting her touches, throwing different options at her on the defensive end.
Joens trying to create some space, and she gets the friendly Hilton Coliseum roll. 0-1, losing to Oklahoma. They led at halftime against the Sooners. Oklahoma went off for 54 in the second half to win that one. Woo! Iowa State down 3 with the ball. Kane to Donarski. She's been Iowa State's leader on the offensive end. Donarski trying to get Kane a touch. A lot of contact. Iowa State, the top free throw shooting team in the country. Kane at 61% this year. Rattles the first one through. Dawn Plitzuweit has to be happy with the effort once again here in this first half. 1 of 2 for Kane. We have a rugby scrum on the court as bodies go down. There's some of the Big 12 toughness that I know we both love to see. So incidental contact, no fouls. Iowa State, after all of that, we go back to an inbound underneath. 12-second differential, game clock to shot clock. A big possession to close out this second quarter. Donarski has had success off the dribble. Little pick and roll with Soares, and she'll get 2 free throws.
As we mentioned down in Lubbock, when points were hard to come by, those are other ways that you can score because you get second, third chance opportunities.
One last look. Mountaineers trying to grab the lead here at halftime, and they throw it away underneath as the clock expires. And a draw. Deadlock at 37 here at the half. This crowd, for the most part, has been relegated to their seats. We haven't seen the patented Iowa State run that they are famous for in this building, and a big reason why has been the play of J.J. Quinterly. The only one in danger so far tonight. Open 3, Donarski, short, Soares keeps it alive. Little game of tetherball as she went right over the top of Isis Bay. And a second chance opportunity, and Joens makes them pay.
West Virginia did a pretty good job of boxing Soares off the glass, but when she's just that tall, she can go straight up, tip the basketball to herself, keep it alive without that over the back call.
Madison Smith, as the ball gets stuck, and they'll turn to Soares to try to free it up. Quick team fouls for the Mountaineers. Watson has picked up her second. Soares for three, and there's the range. Smith to Watson. Kaya Watson up top to Jayla Hemingway. Hemingway with the left-hand dribble. High arcing shot. Soft touch off the glass.
Good utilization of the glass by Hemingway.
Both coaches waiting for the media timeout. Dew not wasting any time. Hits. Boy, that's a welcome sight for Iowa State.
A lot of times he would have taken a timeout. He let this mature team play through it. There have been several instances of that this year. They're not afraid to talk about high expectations.
With the clock winding down, the shot clock, Blackston unable to cap it. Here's Dew looking for two in a row. Shot that one with confidence. Joens fighting for the rebound. Last touch by Savannah Samuel. Lower chronic leg issues over the past couple of seasons, and you see what she has done in her time wearing the Iowa State uniform.
She was a key contributor for Iowa State last year, averaging 6 points per game. Bodies of these young people, and she had to make a tough decision. She'll be able to travel with the team. See her out there shooting it up.
Yeah, tough break for her. Three by Nichols, and I think Dew got a piece of it. Minutes off the bench by Dew tonight. Joens working feverishly inside, trying to get position. Good battle with the opposite 24, Savannah Samuel. Emily Ryan trying to find some space, gets it into Soares. Little fadeaway shot, soft touch. He has filled up the stat line again tonight. 11 points, 17 rebounds, a couple of block shots. Quinterly misfires, and an offensive rebound or an offensive foul. Dew. And when you look at the trio of Dew, Espen Miller, McGraw,
and tonight it's Neimer Dew. Next night out it might be Maggie.
A dangerous juncture here for West Virginia. Blackston way off with her outside shot. Iowa State with their largest lead of the night, up 11. Joens will try to add to that. Bingo. The decision to come back. She knew exactly the returning firepower they had. The addition of Soares. She wanted one more run at a national championship.
Well, and it's interesting talking to Coach Finley about the strength of this Big 12 conference, and he often says, we're old. A lot of other teams are old. I mean, there's just so much maturity and a lot of high-level basketball experience across this Big 12 conference. Does a lot of things well for this Iowa State squad.
Jayla Hemingway on the reverse scoop. West Virginia just struggled through a tough quarter shooting. Quarter that saw them go 2 of 17 from the floor.
0 of 8 from beyond the arc.
Hemingway with 6 tonight. Ryan distributing the ball. Joens coffin corner 3. Look at Dew. Man, she has been active, and she puts it in.
5th rebound of the night.
Amir Dew, her second year here in Ames. Started the final 6 games last year for Iowa State. It was a lot for the community back home in Sioux City, held a summer camp. Just 6 points in the second half for West Virginia. Good look, Ryan underneath, Kane with the easy finish.
Great patience for Iowa State. 6 second half points for West Virginia, nearly 15 minutes of basketball.
Approaching the halfway point of this fourth quarter, Iowa State up by 18. Wide open path for Donarski.
Don't go, maybe have a couple turnovers here or there. You get frustrated. You maybe don't take the best shot available. That's happened on a few occasions. And
Iowa State will work on the clock a little bit, go deep into the shot clock, inside 10. Shot clock down to 5. Ryan way out high. Shot clock to 2, and she lost her balance.
I believe that the Iowa State men won tonight. Big round of applause.
Snaps down with the steal. J.J. Quinterly hesitates. Soares' shadow was in the vicinity, so she backs out.
I think that's probably the last of the action we'll see for a few of Iowa State's starters.
Big round of applause. Donarski tonight into the 1,000-point club. Soares with a career-high 20 rebounds. And then the spirited effort off the bench by Naimir Dew. 7 rebounds, 7 points for Dew in 20 minutes of action. That's something Bill Finley talked about. He wants to manage Ryan and Donarski's minutes a little bit better, you know, with the rigors and the physicality that the Big 12 brings each and every night.
Well, if Naimir Dew can give that type of performance pretty consistently for Iowa State, that's what they're looking for. Danae Fritz, similarly, that's what they're looking for out of her. Just to be consistent, know your defensive assignment, rebound, try to avoid mistakes ball handling wise.
Kane, backdoor cut, Fritz inside.
Nifty little finish by Fritz.
Fritz, one of the toughest customers on this Iowa State roster, battled some shin injuries, had her season cut short last year, really never got into a full swing, never made it to the conference portion of the schedule. They maneuvered her reps very carefully this offseason, and they feel that she's finally finding her rhythm now.
That's right.
67-48. A lot of changes coming in on our next dead ball, which will be now. Joens fouled by Watson. Don Plitzowite, you look up at the scoreboard, you surrender 67 to Iowa State.
Certainly not probably interested in moral victories, but fully expect West Virginia to continue to improve and mesh on the offensive end throughout the long season.
Maggie Vick at the free throw line. Iowa State will look at the start of this Big 12 season, and they will look toward their second halves of both games, Texas Tech and now West Virginia. A couple of double-digit wins for the Cyclones to start off this new campaign. Shot by Rogers won't fall. One more trip into the offensive zone, and Iowa State will dribble it out. The 11th-ranked Cyclones 2-0 in the Big 12, 10-2 on the year, and they knock off West Virginia for the 5th straight time.